Well, a rematch between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump is on for November. One of the biggest issues this election, the wide open southern border. Both leaders visited Texas earlier this month. President Biden in Brownsville, Trump in Eagle Pass, the epicenter of the crisis. And yet since then, Biden has still not issued any executive orders to finally close the border and is instead only waiting for new border security measures to be passed in Congress. And his DHS Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, is awaiting a potential impeachment trial. And that soon could happen in the Senate for his failures at securing the border. Now, one man who worked directly with Secretary Mayorkas at the DHS is Bernie Flowers. As millions of illegal migrants stormed across the border, he began to realize Secretary Mayorkas wasn't fully enforcing our country's immigration policies. He's no longer at DHS, and he's now running for Congress to help finally fix our nation's immigration system, along with other priorities. Bernie Flowers, he joins me now, and he is going to elaborate a little bit more on this for us. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. So you previously worked as a senior advisor to Alejandro Mayorkas at DHS. So walk us through those experiences and why you decided to leave DHS.
John, first, happy, wow. Bottom line is, thank you for having me on your show. And the bottom line is I worked there with Secretary Mayorkas. I was there as little as 2 years ago. We worked on the staff together. I was, as you said, a senior advisor to DHS and to the staff. I was there, saw the man every day. And the bottom line is we were under COVID conditions. So remember, most of DHS is working from home. We were going through the Afghan retrograde. 18,000 people showed up at the border. They were Haitians down in Texas, down at the Rio Grande, at the border station down there. And the bottom line, it seemed like everything was coordinated against the American government. All these things were happening at the same time. We were spending money like crazy. And in the meantime, COVID was happening. And I just realized that I was on the wrong side of this thing, and I needed to do something about that. So between not taking the vaccine and also seeing all this immigration come in and our government, especially DHS and Northcom, seeming to not be able to do anything about it, I figured that I could do something about it on the outside. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Bernie, President Trump, he had his latest campaign rally last night in Dayton, Ohio. Here were some of the comments on the border. I want to get your thoughts on this.
In 2016, one of the biggest issues was the border. And I sort of won on the border, I guess, maybe. And we fixed the border. We fixed it so good that border was a tiny fraction of what this border is. This is the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been anything. Millions and millions of people are pouring into our country.
So, Bernie, break down those Trump comments for me there. And overall, how aligned are you with the former president in terms of the immigration policies that need to be implemented at the border? And are there any differences with his policies and something that you might want to enforce?
There's no differences. The bottom line is we have the laws in place and the policies in place to do the job. The current administration simply is not enforcing them. Northcom's job is to protect the homeland. DHS's job is to protect the homeland. We're not doing that for some reason. We're allowing people to come into the United States. We brought in, 85,000 Afghans into the United States back in 2021. And that's $1,400 a day for upkeep for those people. And that's $119 million a day, as I remember some of the numbers that I was working on. And the issue of the day is that we couldn't have possibly vetted all those people. We need to enforce the border policies that we have. As I remember, President Trump asked for $5 billion to build his wall that would have kept us safe or at least helped us kept us safe. Instead, we sent $200 billion over to the Ukraine to protect them. I believe that we should be protecting American citizens first. And bringing all these people over here, we're not vetting them. They could be bringing any kind of diseases. I've heard of people being murdered by some of them. And I'm not saying they're all bad. I am saying that we need to protect our border. A country with no border is no country. And I believe that President Trump is right.
And you also have dealt with all kinds of enemies from around the world after proudly serving our nation as an Air Force, with the Air Force for 21 years. But under Biden's lack of leadership on the world stage, Ukraine is at war, Russia, Israel is hoping to wipe out Hamas, and now a third alarming conflict is growing in Haiti, where the gangs there are fighting against the government, which has now forced Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to deploy 250 officers to stop any illegal immigration from Haiti. How concerning is this becoming?
It's very concerning because the bottom line is Haiti is 700 miles off our coast. I believe that we should be more concerned with Haiti than the Ukraine. And speaking of the Ukraine, they have nuclear weapons in Russia. Remember, we're poking a bear that can fight back. So just think about that. But the issue of the day is it seems like we've got war and all over the world, and we're not taking care of our portion of it. Allowing these people, allowing Haiti to fall apart like this on our watch is just terrible. And by the way, let's talk about the Clinton Global Initiative. Years ago, they raised billions of dollars on behalf of the problems in Haiti, and nothing's been solved. Matter of fact, things have gotten 10 times worse. So people are coming here and they're looking for asylum. I get that. I believe that we should give asylum to people who are suffering political and racial problems, but just allowing people to come over across the border because they're looking for economic sanctuary, we need to look deeply into that and turn some of these people back or send them back home. But right now, the bottom line is DHS is not doing their job. They need to do better. And if I can get into Congress, I'm going to do something about it.
And we're seeing the domino effect of this, too. We're seeing some of the illegal migrants in the city of Chicago. They announced now that they're going to move forward with evicting thousands from migrants from the city and state that operate those shelters that they've set up to help operate and control the problem. But are we not going to now see this more in Democrat-run cities to follow suit? New York's another example of that.
Sanctuary cities. They want to be a sanctuary city as long as it doesn't affect them. And now I applaud the governors of Texas and Florida for sending these people, back to the places like, for example, New York and Chicago and such that, they claim to be sanctuary cities, but they don't understand what's necessary. And now they're starting to understand. I mean, our government is giving away money and resources to people that are not American citizens. And in the meantime, our taxes are going higher. And I got a real problem with that.
And lastly, I just want to get to why should people vote for you? Here's your time for a little plug.
I've been fighting for this country for 34 years. My entire adult life has been dedicated to protecting American citizens and protecting our way of life. And I will continue to do that until I die. If you put me into Congress, I know where the bones are buried and I can make a difference.
All right. We love that. Bernie Flowers, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on and good luck with your congressional race.
Happy St. Patty's Day, John.
Thank you.